How are you guys doing? That's a lot better. Listen, my name's Billy P. I'm a recovering drug addict. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a 4-time convicted felon. I've made every poor choice and every poor decision that somebody could make in their life. Thought I had all the answers. Come to find out, I really didn't know anything. We would live in a community and we say that we don't have problems in a 6th grade level, right? That's what our parents would like to think, and that's what our society would like to think, and in reality, we do have a problem at a 6th grade level. Hey, out of curiosity, what grade are you guys in? 6th. Imagine that. That's why we're going to talk about choices and decisions. And see, we're going to talk about things today that I normally don't have to speak about, but they've actually becoming a huge problem, which inevitably might lead you to make the same choices and the same decisions that I made. I come from a good family. When people hear about where I've been, they think to themselves, man, you must have had a horrible life. It must have been horrible living where you did. My mom and dad are absolutely magnificent people. They are, today, they're amazingly terrific people. They adopted 4 of us, all from different families. I don't come from a bad home. My dad's not an alcoholic. My mom's not a drug addict. Nobody beat us. I went to a very good school, kindergarten through 8th grade. After that, I went into a public high school. And when I went into that public high school, I just left a school that we all looked the same. I went to a private school. Education, phenomenal. Teachers and the classes, they're a lot smaller. I went to the classes from kindergarten to 8th grade with you. From kindergarten to 8th grade, we sat next to each other all the time. That's what it's like in a private school. You have 30 kids in that class, and everybody knows everybody. Here's the one thing that I miss about that school. Everybody looks the same. We all wore the same exact thing. We all wore white or blue. The guys, we had to wear ties, and we had to wear pants. And this is why I missed it. We live in a society today where we're nasty to each other, ain't we, people? It's okay, you see, I want you to be honest with me. You see, because I've already told you some real honest things about me, and by the time I leave here, you're going to know everything that there is to know about me. I don't want you to pay attention to the teachers on the wall, or the teachers that might even be sitting next to you. It ain't about them right now. For the next 30 minutes, it's about me and it's about you. And if you don't want to listen, I feel extremely bad for you. I hope that you're going to pay attention. I'm not coming in here in a 3-piece suit and tie. I'm not going to come in here and tell you drugs are bad. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you exactly why kids end up doing the things that I did. And if you're fortunate enough to make it into the boots that I'm in, hopefully you're not incarcerated the rest of your life. Hopefully you're not a statistic and you end up dying. How many people sitting in here right now can honestly say, Billy, I've said unkind things, man, to people in my class. That's why I miss the fact that we all look the same. You see, for some reason, it's so much easier to be nasty to somebody than it is just to be kind. Our parents, they teach us right, don't they? Every single one of our parents teach us right, but we don't want to listen to them. Our teachers teach us properly. We don't want to listen to them. You see, because we have this mentality. And this mentality says that we've got the answers and we know what we're doing. Choices and decisions. The choices and the decisions that you make at the age that you are right now, I can absolutely assure you they're going to have absolutely everything to do with where you're going to end up being, with who you are going to end up becoming. When I went into that high school, I left that private school, and I saw people I've never even seen before. I'm talking different colors, I'm talking different ages, different shapes, different sizes, different groups. You guys know what cliques are? No. Sure you do, because we have cliques here in the 6th grade, don't we? Yeah. In fact, I can come to your lunchroom, and I can walk in there, and I can see the neon signs over the tables, can't I? You know what signs I'm talking about, don't you? Like the jocks and the preps and you know, back in the day, today I call them the intelligent people, because in reality, they're the ones who had it going on the entire time. Are cliques good? No, they're not. We will do and say some nasty things to one another to fit in, won't we? Who in here likes to be liked? Who wants to fit in? And who wants to be popular? When I went to this high school, I fit in every single group that there was. I could hang out with the stoners and talk to the stoners and be the life of the party. I could leave that clique and I could go over to the jocks and I could hang out with the jocks and I could fit in. Here's the sad part. When I go over and I talk to the jocks, you know who I'm talking about? We're having conversations about the people that I just left. Then from there I could go to the other people and I could hang out with this group. And people might think, hey, you know what, dude? Billy P was a real popular individual. People would think, hey, everybody knows Billy P. You know why they knew me? They knew me for all the wrong things. That's why they ended up knowing me. Is that popular, people? No. Do you think that I liked it? No. Do you think that that's where my teachers expected me to be? No. Is that anything that my parents taught me? No. No. But yet we still think we have all the answers, don't we? Our parents sit down with us, and if you even have the boldness to even bring the truth to your parents, because a lot of us don't, right? Because we're scared, right? You can say that. I know you are. I know exactly how you think. You see, I picked up drugs at the age of 12. You people might say, dude, that's kind of young, or, oh, there's no way possible. Some of you guys can say, you know what, dude, I know what he's talking about. People say, Billy, why did you get high? Listen, I put drugs and alcohol in my body for one of three reasons. Either one, I didn't like the way I felt. Two, I wanted to feel different. And at the end, for me, three, I simply didn't want to feel anything at all. We live in a cruel world, don't we? How many of us agree that we actually help the world as cruel as it is? In other words, how many of you people contribute to the cruelness every day? See, I love your honesty. I do, because that's exactly what's going to help you. It is. I didn't want to admit to nothing. I ran with my ideas, man, the whole time. I got out of that jail, and getting high and using drugs and alcohol was the furthest thing from my mind. The furthest thing from my mind. As soon as I walked out of them doors, after 365 days, payphone is to the left and the liquor store is to the right. You know where I went? Went to the liquor store. Went to a liquor store, and when I left that liquor store, I went to the dope house. 3 days later, the guy that runs that dope house tells me I gotta leave. There might be a problem if somebody who's in a house with no power and no running water, and they tell you that you are no longer welcome there. I walked back to that payphone and I did the one thing that I knew how to do extremely well at this point in my life. Do you know what that was? Lie. I knew how to lie extremely well. My traits that I had, that I thought were all the answers. I knew how to hide, lie, con, and manipulate. Anybody relate to that? I know you can, and I know you don't want to raise your hand, but here's the honest to God's truth. We do it. And you can say, Billy, man, I'm nothing like you. Listen, right is right and wrong is wrong. There is no degree. You're either doing what you're supposed to be doing to become who you can be, or you're not. If you're lying about a game, it doesn't matter if I'm lying about where I've been. Lying is lying. Do you agree? It starts out small. I was your age, everybody kept telling me marijuana is a gateway to bigger and better drugs. I said, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. I had a guy in a three-piece suit come into a gymnasium, kind of like this. A lot more people. That's the message he brought. He said, drugs are bad. Listen to me. Drugs ain't bad. They're evil. They will kill you. They will destroy your family like they did mine. And you won't have any control to a certain point. My mom and dad didn't raise me like this. When I was growing up, I never raised my hand and said when I grow up I want to be a crackhead. I never said when I grow up I want to be a junkie or a convicted felon. I never said any of that. You guys talk to each other, don't you? You guys say, hey man, what do you guys want to be when you grow up, don't you? Does anybody ever say any of them things that I just mentioned? No, neither did I. And I became every single one of them. Every single one of them. My mom and dad would say stuff like this to me. When are you ever going to grow up? You guys ever hear that? I mean, you're kind of young, but when are you going to act your age? You've heard that, right? Yeah. How about this one? What did we do so different with you that we didn't do with the other one? If you have a brother or sister, you've heard that, haven't you? Yes. How about this one? When are you going to remove your head from your rear end? Yes. Everybody's hand's going up on that one. Yeah. Listen, my mom and dad would say that stuff to me all the time. And you know, I never even listened to it. I didn't. Every moral and every value that they gave me, I threw away. People say, hey, you know, this guy, he lost this because of drugs. And they say, you know, this lady over here, she lost this because of drugs. Listen to me. I lost one thing. Me. I lost me at the age of 12. From that point on, I gave everything away. I gave my mom away. I gave my dad away. I gave my brother away. I gave my sisters away. At that point, the only thing that I could not give away, it's her. She's my best friend today. She's my wife. You see, because I thought I had all the answers. Because I didn't want to listen to anybody. Because I went my way. I moved to Burton, I got the same thing. I moved to Flint, I got the same thing. I moved to Ohio, I got the same thing. I didn't realize anything until I started to actually grow up that no matter where I go, I bring my worst problem with me. People, my worst problem is me. I am my own worst enemy. Does that make any sense to you? Why? Why do we spend so much time hating each other? Why do we spend so much time putting each other down? Pushing each other down? Is it that hard to say, hey, sweetheart, anybody tell you how absolutely magnificently beautiful you are today? Is that hard to do? It isn't. Anybody, is it hard to say, you know, when you walk in the room, that smile that you carry with you, it just brightens up the entire room. Is that hard? No. Why don't we do it? Are we embarrassed? Yeah, sure we are. We don't do it because we're afraid of what other people are going to think of us. That's why. Right, guys? Yes. I knew you'd get honest with me. That's exactly why I never did it. You realize I tell everybody how absolutely amazing they are today? I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's a judge, a doctor, a lawyer, a pastor, a teacher. I don't care. I don't care if it's a homeless person sitting on a bench. I will stop my car and I will get out and sit next to that person. And I will tell them how absolutely amazing they are and that they don't have to be that way anymore. But yet, it's hard to do, ain't it? Because you're supposed to dress a certain way, man, to fit in. You better wear your hair a certain way, man, for me to hang out with you. If you're not wearing the right shoes, man, I'm going to give you a hard time. If your hair is not done a certain way, you're not going to fit in. If you're a different size or a shape or maybe, God forbid, a different color, you're not going to fit in, right? Yeah. Is that the way we're supposed to be? It isn't. You remember when I told you I got high because of feelings? Now, when we're your age, we hear things like this. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me, right? We've all heard that, right? Yeah. That is garbage. Throw it away. It's bull crap. And I'm telling you for a fact, you can hit me with a stick repetitively. I've been hit with a lot of sticks. You can throw rocks at me all day long, and I'm still going to get up and march on. But when you say something to me from your mouth, and them hurtful words roll off your tongue, It hurts me deeper than you could ever even imagine. That's why that whole phrase is garbage. There's no truth to it. Kids are killing themselves. They're killing themselves because names do hurt, don't they, people? But yet we still real quick to have them roll off our tongues, ain't we? Who here is happy and understands what a mess it is outside these walls? You truly do understand what a mess it is outside, right? Are you okay with it? Are you okay with the way that this world is? Do you understand that you guys are the change? I want you to remember a couple things. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. Does that make any sense? How about this one? Do what you've always done, and you will get what you've always gotten. You see, because I never changed anything. When I told you my worst problem was me, it was. The last time I moved, I was in Flint, and I said, okay, I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to move to Detroit. Yeah. That's why we call it dope, people. We do some real dumb things, man, when we're on dope. I'm thinking that my answers are in Detroit. So I leave Flint and I go to Detroit, and you know where I ended up going to? A much larger Flint. Now you can say, Billy, we don't have a drug problem here. And I'm going to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. Because I know that I know that I know Durand has a drug problem. Just like Swartz Creek has a problem, Grand Lake has a problem, Corona has a problem, Owasso has a problem, Kentucky, Ohio, Connecticut, it doesn't matter. Because we all agreed that outside these walls, our world is a mess, isn't it? We're not excluded here in Durand, are we, people? No. So I'm down there in Detroit. All my best thinking and my best planning down in Detroit, you know where I ended up being? After the jails that they invited me to come and stay in, I ended up living in a tent in Yalis off of Warren Avenue. I was eating out of dumpsters. I was the guy standing at the corner with a sign in my hand, panhandling and begging for money. I was the guy that was sitting on the curb in front of Kroger's waiting for you to walk by. And if you were a smoker and you flicked down part of a cigarette, I was the one that was going to hurry up and run up and grab it so that I could finish it. Do you really think that my mom and dad raised me to live in a tent? No. Do you think that they raised me to eat out of a dumpster? No. I tried every way possible to be successful and use drugs. It's impossible. You can't do it. I can't do it. Nobody can do it. I accepted the fact that that's just the way that I was supposed to be. It's okay, I'm telling everybody, it's okay, all I'm doing is hurting myself. That's wrong. I'm killing everybody around me. My parents, anybody who cares about me, they're falling apart because I'm sucking them dry. They're trying to fix something they can't even fix, and I don't even know I even have a problem because I don't even want to admit it. And at that point is when it pretty much was, I didn't have a choice. When they say that marijuana is the gateway to bigger and better drugs, it is. Remember, I never raised my hand to say when I grow up I want to be a junkie. When I grow up I want to be a crackhead. When I grow up I want to be a drop-dead drunk. You see, I didn't even understand. I thought that the drugs and the drinking were my problem. Come to find out, man, I am my own problem. Come to find out that I'm an addict. Once I start something that changes the way that I feel, and it makes me feel good, and it gives me instant gratification, I can't stop it. The drugs, it took 20 years for God and society to turn it off. November 11, 2004, I went to my only treatment facility. By this point, I was owned by the state of Michigan in one form or another for 16 years of my life. That means for 16 years in one form or another, the state of Michigan told me what I was going to do. Does that sound fun? Absolutely not. I still didn't want to listen to them. I went into a building and I said, help me, please. I'm tired and I'm scared And I don't know anything. I'm 32 years old, but I'm a complete mess. Nobody wants me around. I'm not popular. I'm surely not well liked at this point. I've been told my whole life that I was never going to amount to nothing. I've been told my whole life that I was going to just be, a castaway or a menace to society, or I was going to end up in prison or dead. Listen, they're wrong. I am somebody. I'm more of a man today than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm a successful business owner. I'm a well-known outreach pastor. I travel the United States. I speak, I preach, I go to places that I used to have to stay. Today I don't have to. I can go in, bring a message, bring hope, encourage them, and leave. I live a life today that I never even thought that I deserved. And it's taken me a lot to get there. I work with you guys all the time. A lot of you guys have been on ball games and ball teams that I've sponsored, correct? Yeah. You see me around town, don't you? You ever see me kicking dogs? You ever see me tipping a beer? Have you ever seen me walk into the bar? Have you ever seen me be nasty to somebody? How many of you have seen me with a smile on my face all the time? No matter what, I smile, don't I? How many of you see me do nice things for people? Yes! That's why I got that smile I got. That's my success. You can't take it from me. Nobody can. And I don't have to give it away. We got to challenge each other. We do. You kids got to get honest with one another. You have to get honest with your teachers. You have to get honest with the people who are here. We say, oh, they don't understand. Listen to me. These teachers and the people who are here, I can assure you, they do not come to work every day because they live in a 5-bedroom home and they got a movie theater in the basement and there's a Mercedes-Benz in the parking lot. Okay? They don't get paid nowhere near what they should. They're here because they love you. They're here because they care about you. They're here because they're doing everything that they possibly can to equip you with what you need to become anything that you want to be. Don't let this world hold you back. And don't fall into this peer pressure bull crap. You got to figure out who you are, like who you are, learn how to love who you are, and stay strong. Don't go to the right and don't go to the left. You go right down the middle. You set goals and you keep on keeping on until you accomplish that goal. Do you agree? Do you have what it takes? What do you want to be when you grow up? An engineer. That is a good choice. What do you want to be when you grow up? An artist? Phenomenal choice. Anybody told you how beautiful you are? You shouldn't hide that pretty smile, girl. You should just let it shine, because let me tell you something. You deserve to let it shine. In fact, what you're doing, you're robbing me. You're robbing me of your smile, sweetheart. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. See? It's much easier to smile, ain't it? Yes. People, listen. I'm not telling you that you're going to become a drug addict, and I didn't come in here to tell you that you're going to become an alcoholic. However, I will say this. It's easy to fall into something and not be able to get out. And we say, you're going to sit there and be like, Billy P., you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. We judge a book by its cover, don't we, people? Even though it's wrong, we still do it because we're human, right? Good. Judge this book by his cover. Bless you. I want you to judge this book by my cover. Because I want you to know that I'm in here telling you the truth. It's not all right to screw around with drugs and alcohol. You know what the big drug of choice nowadays for kids is? Heroin. Heroin. That's what's killing everybody. They will not let me come in that high school and tell them. You want to know why? Because we put out horse blinds. We want to act like we don't have a problem in our community, right? Swartz Creek's right down the road. Then why is it every single year I get phone calls from families and I have to do a funeral for a teenager and the paper said that they OD'd and they didn't OD. $10 killed that person. $10. And you guys, you know what? You know how you start? You know how you progress into heroin? Vicodin. You know what Vicodins are, don't you? No? Vicodin's a pain pill. Okay? Believe me. When you get into your other classes, like 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, Vicodin is the most misused prescribed narcotic that's out there. I will promise you, you will be offered a Vicodin. This is what happens. After a while, the Vicodins, they just don't do it no more because you've built up a tolerance. Once you've got this tolerance, somebody introduces you to an Oxycontin. You ever heard one of them? Yeah, you shook your head. I'm glad you've heard of one of them. Let me tell you something. Anybody ever offers you an Oxycontin, don't just say no, run. Run like Forrest Gump run. Run like you just hit the ball and run to first base and don't stop. Because let me tell you where that Oxycontin's going to take you. An Oxycontin in today's market costs $28. Between 28 and 35 bucks, depending upon where you're at. After a while, you'll get tired of stealing the money from your mom and dad. Right? After a while, mom and dad get tired of their money coming up missing. Maybe you're taking them out of grandpa and grandma's prescriptions out in the bathroom. And they get tired of it. Then somebody introduces to you a thing that's called heroin. Anybody ever heard of a blow? Anybody ever heard of a pack? Anybody ever heard of a bundle? Those are all forms of heroin. A blow costs you 10 bucks. It's a tenth. So, you get tired of these Oxycontins because there's so much money. Somebody says, hey, this is 10 bucks. It's going to do the same thing. By that time, you're already caught. As soon as you do it, you're done. You won't stop. You won't. By that time, you're going to do everything that I did. You're going to feel everything that I felt. You're going to go through everything that I went through, and just like everything that every junkie in the world has to go through. If you get help, and if you make it, I can't tell you what's going to happen. People look at me today, and I get a lot of people that come over and I counsel them at my house. For years, I've been doing this. About a month ago, I had a young man. He's a teenager. He comes over. He's sitting in my office, and he said something to me that I haven't even heard before, and it blew my wig back. He looks at me with all honesty and all sincerity and says this, Billy, my mom and dad tell me the same things that you're telling me. I said, well, they probably know what they're talking about. He says, Billy, if you're telling me that you did all this, and today you live a life that's absolutely incredibly amazing, you claim to live a life that you thought never even existed, and you're doing good, everything seems to be going great, you're always happy, he says this to me, why can't I simply be my age? Why can't I simply do the things that I'm doing and learn from my mistakes and then come out just like you did? Did you follow that? Yeah, dude, he tripped me out. When he asked me that in my office, I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't even have an answer for that one because nobody's ever asked me that. Nobody. And I can understand where he's coming from. So I thought about it momentarily. Are you willing to play Russian roulette with your life? That's what I told him. From what he's saying is, well, hey, this is what I did, and this is where I'm at. Why can't he be that person? Do you understand? I have no idea how many people died so that I could make it. They say 1 out of 100 people make it. Do you mean to tell me that means 99 people died so that I could make it? I went into a building with 250 people, and when they spit out that statistic, I said 99 of you people go home right now, because I'm done. I am not going to pick up drugs no matter what. I am not going to drink no matter what. And I've done today, over a decade later, over 10 years later, I have proved everybody wrong because I haven't picked nothing up. What about the 99 that died? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to gamble? That's the same thing with heroin. You can say, Billy, man, why are you talking to us about heroin? I'll tell you why. Because it's killing our tomorrow. And I'm bold enough to tell you. I'm not ashamed about telling you. I don't feel bad about telling you. Because you got to know. Because you got to know that the Vicodin is going to lead to an Oxycontin. And the Oxycontin is going to lead to a blow or a pack or a bundle. And once you do it, you're done. You're done. Fentanyl. And if you put it down and you quit doing it, you're not cured. You understand I'm going to be a drug addict my entire life? Every day I have to do something to make sure that I'm on my path to becoming the person that I was intended to be all along. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I have been beat down. I have been in places that you kids would cry and puke. That's fun, is it? Does it sound exciting? No. If you think I came in here to glorify man getting high and using drugs, you're missing the whole entire point. If you think I came in here to make a paycheck, you're wrong. I've been doing this for 10 years. You know why I'm doing it? Because you're my future. You understand that? If we get high and we turn to not feeling with drugs and alcohol, what are we going to do about it? We live in such a sick world today. Drugs, alcohol, and technology. This thing here, dude, has become a humongous problem. Hasn't it? Raise your hand and tell me. I know it has. How many of you guys have gotten a nasty message from somebody in this school? How many of you guys are bold enough to be honest enough with me, without caring about the teachers in this room, have sent the nasty message? Do you understand? That will make people pick something up to not feel. That will make you find the Vicodin. That will make you look for the Oxycontin. That is why sticks and stones may break my bones, and names and text messages and pictures, they kill you. They don't hurt you. They kill each other. What are we going to do about it, folks? Are we going to continue to do what we've always done? What did I say? Do what you've always done and get what? What you've always got. Get what you've always got. So doesn't that mean if we know that it's a problem, doesn't that mean that we really should do something about it? Yeah. It ain't that hard. It isn't. Why is it so hard to find somebody and sit next to them? Say, hey, how you doing today? Anybody tell you how absolutely amazingly beautiful you are today? No? I'm the first person? Let me tell you something, sweetheart. Shame on everybody else then. Because by golly, dude, that's what it's supposed to be about. It is. You play sports, man, and your teammate doesn't do up to your par. Is there something wrong with saying, hey, played a heck of a game out there, man? You're gonna be like, Billy, we lost. Who cares, dude? Did you do your best? You know what, man? You did an amazing job out there. Do you understand what a kind, encouraging word can do to somebody? It can change their life. It can. It does totally the opposite of the nasty messages. It lifts them up. And that's what we got to do. We got to quit being in such a hurry to be selfish people and get what we want to get for ourselves and start extending a hand of true friendship, a hand of true kindness. And we have to do it unconditionally. Believe it or not, the same unconditional love that each and every one of your parents have for you. Whether you can see it today or you don't, I know that I know that I know everybody's parents in this room cares about them more than the person will ever even know. You can say, Billy, man, you don't understand, man. I come from a rough family. Listen, I go to the pits of hell. I go to today to places that you still don't want to go to. That's why I laugh. I laugh at we got gangs in Durand. Dude, come on. We live in Durand. We are the home of trains, dude. We have trains and corn. But yet somehow, man, I see pictures going around on the media, this modern bull crap, and it's got Durand kids throwing out gang signs. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know the damage that you're causing. You don't even know what a gang is. Nobody in that high school knows what a gang is, and nobody in Durand knows what a gang is. If you did, you wouldn't be boastful about it. You wouldn't think that you're in one, nor would you even want to be part of one. You people have got to be strong with who you are. You girls, I want you to do me a favor. How many of you girls wake up in the morning and you know that when you put your feet on the floor, you're going to get hurt? How many of you girls know that when you put your feet on the floor in the morning, people are going to say unkind, nasty things to you? How many of you young girls know that if you stay in your bed in the morning, you're safe? Listen to me. Do me such a huge favor. Take some sticky notes tonight when you get home. And I want you to take the sticky notes, and I want you to take one, I want you to write, I'm special. And another one I want you to write, I'm beautiful. And another one I want you to write, I'm very good. Special, precious, beautiful, and very good. You understand that? Say it to me, ladies. I am special. I'm beautiful. I'm precious. I am very good. I want you to say that to yourself, and I want you to put it on sticky notes, and I want you to put it on the mirror in the bathroom. In the morning when you get up to do your hair, I want you to read it. And the more you read it, ladies, the more you're going to believe it. And sooner or later in life, you're going to need those Post-its. You're going to wake up, you're going to smile, you're going to say, you know what? I am special, and I'm beautiful, and I'm precious, and I'm very good. Can you do that for me? Because I'm here to tell you something. It will change everything about you. It will. Don't you let these boys who don't even know nothing about girls, man, talk crap to you. They don't know nothing about being a man. They're boys. Don't take that the wrong way, guys. I didn't know nothing about being a man at the age of 32. Ain't no shame in admitting it is what it is. You guys, the bullying, quit it. You're not amounting to anything thinking that you can lick somebody. When you see somebody getting bullied, man, step in there. Say, hey, remember that crazy guy all tatted up with that crazy beard? He come in here talking about loving on one another and liking one another and extending hands to one another. That, my friends, is what is going to change the world that we don't like today, ain't it? It will. You got to do it. You got to do it. Because if you don't, it's miserable out there. Can you do that for me? If any of you kids have any problems and you're going through garbage, talk to a teacher, talk to a principal, talk to a counselor, get a hold of me, get a hold of my wife, because I can assure you, I deal with it all the time. I can assure you the teachers deal with it all the time. That's how things get better. I got to end it. You kids are amazing. You kids are my tomorrow. You kids are my hope. You're my future. I'm getting older, and I'm going to need you. I want you to be in your right state of mind. I don't want you to be like the man who I once was. I would love to make it through a year and not have to bury a young adult or a child because of a suicide or because of drugs and alcohol. I would love it to be able to say that this is going to be my year. But I can't. I can't because I've already buried one. Can we work together? somebody like me who never knew what love was, to be able to tell you all that I love you, man, from the bottom of my heart, and that you are absolutely amazing, incredible people. Figure out who you are and just be that person. That's a big change from anything that I've ever said to anybody in my entire life. I'm done.